Good morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorene. I've had a few new people join me, so thank you very much. And I'm so glad for everybody who's still watching. It's just great. So I got distracted. The first things first, we are using the new device. And I was very scolded by my daughter to use my big girl words. We are using the new iPad on a tripod to do this videoing. Oh, and you know what? Oh my gosh, just a second. I just remembered that on the old machine I had to have the volume turned up while I was taping. I don't know why, but I did in order for there to be decent volume. So I just went and checked it on this guy, and yeah, so I'm doing it. I don't know if I need to do it, but we'll find out. And then the other excitement will be the editing. I'm assuming it's the same program, but you know, my other one was so old. I think that my editing program was super old too, so I may have to do an update, and Lord knows what that will produce. So anyways, it's an adventure for everything. You know what they say, live every day adventurously. What I have today. So what I have for you today is Martin the Warrior. Brian Jock is the author, and it's part of the Redwall series. And I think there's more than 10. I don't know. I think we stopped around book 6 when the kids were younger. And I pulled this out based on the back. So we have about 5 or 6 of these books in the house. So based on the back, it says the Redwalls, and the first one is Martin the Warrior. And so I started to read it, how many months ago? I think at the beginning of the summer or something, pretty sure. I just wanted something that wasn't too, brain threatening, and thought this would be fun. It's a kid's book. It's battle after battle after battle. I moaned and complained about John Scalzi's the old man's war, and about the same thing. It was there was a different reason, but it was just battle after battle after battle. So this one is the same thing. But we've got Martin the Mouse, who has, through pride, managed to lose his father's sword. So he is determined that he's going to get his father's sword back. And that means he has to go against, there's two sort of bad guys, and they're enemies of each other, but they're also all about power and so on. So there's Clooney, and then there's what's his name? Thugbane. See, that's when it gets all warrior like that. I just can't remember who anybody is. I sort of slide over it. It's pretty funny. It's got a lot of good characters. There's a troupe of traveling players, sort of the way you have in medieval times. I should say this is sort of a medievally staged book. There's castles and overlords, and there aren't any serfs or peasants, but these Clooney and Thurbane, he has slaves, and so Martin has become a slave, and his sword is lost. So he manages to escape, and through the help of some Rose and another mole, I can't remember, a mole, they help Martin, and there's a wreck at sea, and they become split up. And I thought it was just a couple of conflicts too many. As they're traveling along, Martin is encountering different groups of animals, rabbits or shrews or squirrels, and each one of them is in a conflict with Martin. He has to kind of battle his way to get safe passage, and sometimes he makes friends along the way, and sometimes he makes enemies, and it just takes him a lot of battles to get to this refuge. And the other group, as I say, just gets there much more efficiently. Oh, or I'm telling a lie. They match up with the musical troupe, the acting troupe, and through their clever thinking, they manage to help some slaves escape and so on. It's a very complicated little story. You've got you've got these two guys branching off, two parties branching off, but the goal is to save the slaves, and this group is doing it this way, and this group is doing it this way. I didn't love the ending. The ending kind of depended heavily on just in the nick of time, and so it was okay. I just really wasn't in the mood for that many battles. And so it took a while to finish it off. Now, what I should have started with, and where I am at right now, is the actual book, Redwall. And I don't know why it does this, because on the back it starts with Martin the Warrior, and Redwall, this first book, is way down here. So this little piece is not in order. I got crabby about that last video, I think, where I just think the publishers need to do a service to the readers and just make sure that the books are in their order of publication, in case you like to start at the beginning. And lately things are being, this kind of information, publication dates and so on, is going to the back of new releases, and it's like, why? So anyhow, again, I had to do some research online to figure out which was the actual first book of this. So I'm reading it, it's okay, I'll tell you about it when I'm finished, but this is, for those of you who were thinking, what is she talking about? I was wrong. Yeah, the sound just changed. Steve was doing vacuuming downstairs in the basement. He's doing cleaning up in his work section, so the sound quality probably just got way better. I wasn't going to interrupt that action. So oh, there he is. He's still vacuuming. It's good. It's good if he's vacuuming. You know what they say about kids that are quiet? If the kids are noisy, don't check. If the kids are quiet, check. If he's got the vacuum going, don't look. The second book I have for you is West of the Moon by Margie Prius, and I picked this up because I had really enjoyed her writing in Heart of the Samurai, and I think I had read one other book of hers, but again, it's not included in here. So I suppose the onus is on me to try and remember what I've previously read, but I'm not that dedicated. Okay, West of the Moon. We have got Astri, who is living with her aunt and uncle and their children, and Astri has a younger sister, and Dad has gone to America. And so Astri is hoping that he will send the money so that they can join him in America. But it's hard on the family. They don't have any money to look after these two extra girls. And so the aunt sells Astri to a goat farmer, and he wants her to, do all the crummy chores. And so that happens. Astri has to go and live with this goat farmer. And he's a pretty miserable guy. He's more miserable than he needs to be, It's like he's looking for reasons to be extra grumpy and mean and so forth. And she just, things like she never gets a chance to wash her hair, or she's just dirty all the time. He's just a mean guy to live with. And it's not sexual, because this is middle grade book, not young adult. Eventually she starts to figure out some of his secrets, and she decides that she's going to escape him, and he's taking her to town, and she figures out on the way that he wants to marry her so that he can get those extra favors. And she's like, I'm not marrying this guy. So she manages to escape, gets his secrets, which includes a book of trolls, a book of troll secrets, and gets to her aunt's farm and manages to get her sister, and the two of them manage to escape. And through a whole bunch of extra people sort of joining in the journey, they get eventually to the port where they can get to America, catch a ship and get to America. And she manages, through a little bit of thievery and a little bit of con artistry and so forth, she and her sister managed to get enough money together for one ticket. And so the younger sister, who's quite small, is smuggled aboard in some luggage. And of course the crossing is difficult, and they have to keep this little girl's hidden, but it's hard to hide a person amongst a whole bunch of people who are just in steerage and paying attention to everybody else's business because they're bored. So eventually the little girl is, well, like I shouldn't give it away, right? Eventually you don't know what happens to the little girl. I didn't say that. So upon reaching America, of course, how do you find your dad? So there's some interesting developments around that. I think it's a very well written book. The pacing was very good. The characters were really nice. It's based on the author's great grandmother's diaries, which there are some in the back. There are some bibliography for one thing, and there are some excerpts from the great grandmother's diary of the voyage, and there was something in here that triggered the whole story. So there is also a little author's explanation as to the source of the story and where she decided to go. She's also got some explanations on things like rickets and cholera, which are large parts of some characters' trauma. And so, yeah, I think it's also short. So it's got a lot of interesting things about it in terms of, if you're looking for, if you're someone who's doing any teaching, for instance, I think would be very this would be, I'm saying interesting too much. I think this would be a very colorful book to bring forward in terms of the immigration experience. And in some ways, I don't think they're headed to America, but I don't think it's tremendously different from what Canadian first immigrants were starting to experience in terms of what was happening on board ship. And I mean, the whole story prior to getting on board ship is that story. But once you get on board ship, then there's some experiences that would be the same for immigration to Canada and to the US. So, and also the way that the author has picked up her relatives' diaries to use as inspiration would also be a fun creative writing project. If, you know, go find an old relative and get them to tell you a story and then turn it into your own story. There you go, creative writing exercise. Could do it for yourself too. This is the first book of the duo, Jeeves, written by Ben Schott, and it is a novel in homage to P.G. Wodehouse, and it is Jeeves and the King of Clubs. It, I think, is a little weaker than the second one. I think the second one, the author Ben Schott has managed to really capture the pacing and the banter and this sort of loopiness of Wooster, and how the people around him use his kind of, he's kind of like a baby goat and a baby horse all at the same time, kind of lolloping through life. But he thinks he knows what's going on, but everybody around him is 7 steps ahead. So this is a similar. I think the second book was more tight. More, that was good English. Good. It was good tightness. Okay. What happens here is the Junior Ganymede Club, which you may remember, that's where Wooster goes. He is, oh no, wait, I'm sorry, Junior Ganymede Club is where the butlers go. And so the butlers all get together. They've got a secret society that has, because they've got connections to the lords of the land and so on, the higher, upper, wealthier people of the land and so on, they are in a great position for spying and to figure out where someone might be doing something that is contrary to the needs of Britain. And so they rope in Wooster, and he's being asked to do some spying, and he is going against the oh my God, what is his name? He's so terrible. Lord Sidcup, Roderick Spode is up to no good with his black shorts group, who are like neo-fascists, and so how to bring him down from his positions of power without making it a big public scandal. And so they employ Wooster to sort this out. There's a theater trope, there's lots of dining, there's lots of borrowing of money, there's, of course, he gets connected up with two women that he really does not want to be engaged to, but somehow once again finds himself engaged to more than one person. It's fun. And I mentioned in the last time I talked about this author, if you go into it knowing that it's sort of an homage to Wodehouse, then you know that it's tongue-in-cheek, and you know that it's a spoof. If you're expecting Wodehouse, the author, you're getting a taste of it. You're getting a little bit of a sort of tasting the vinegar in a dressing, kind of. You're not getting the real thing. For some people, that really bothers them, and that it's too close to the simulation is too close to the original, and they just want the original. So, if you prefer your originals, don't read this. But if you want a good laugh, nice, cheerful, another book that doesn't crush your soul, this is a good option. There are only two, as far as I know. I did check Goodreads a little while ago, and there's nothing more in this area. All right, the last book that I'm bringing to you is August of the Zombies, which is book 3 in the little series written by K.G. Campbell. It is much bigger than the others. It has the same illustrations, which are just always so much fun. Sorry, there we go. And it's a much more complicated story this time. The author is wrapping up all the bits and pieces that were in the first 2 books. There's the alligator that was a real problem in book 2 is resolved. There is a resolution around the actual stone and August, and the stone is the conduit for certain types of voices that that are in the beyond, I guess you could call it. And is August, does he need the stone, or doesn't he need the stone, or does he need something different? And so there's just a lot of really good wrapping up, but along the way there are more adventures, and you kind of thinking, gosh, how is the author going to do this? It's not a throwaway ending. I thought the ending was really good. I really enjoyed August all the way through. I think I called him Arthur in the previous time I spoke about this book, but close. No, I really enjoyed this. I think it's a very strong series. What I was not disappointed by, which sometimes happens in series, is that book 3 is too fast. You get all these adventures, and then the author's like, oh my God, I don't want to write a 4th book. I got to like zip, 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 zip. No, this was, as they're traveling through towards the end of the book, things are being resolved gradually. And so it's not all 17 threads being resolved in 2 chapters. So that's what makes the pacing really nice. I also really liked the environment that they were in. It felt very Bayou-esque. It is and it isn't. I mean, it's not literally in a place that we would all recognize, but it has elements, and the swamp part was really really well done. And so was the tension. Every time there was meant to be tension, it was tense. It was good. And then the resolution is just really logical. I mean, if you buy into the idea of zombies, it was really logical. So I really liked this, and it's one that I'm going to recommend multiple times. And this was published in 2022. It's now 2025. It's probably worthwhile for me to go check on Goodreads and just see, whether something new has come forward from this author. Now, I believe that this author is also an illustrator. And so if you look, yes, because he illustrated Flora and Ulysses, which I couldn't remember if I had read it or not, so I got it back out to see if I've read it. I have a feeling I have, but doesn't matter. It's a fun book, but it has similar kinds of illustrations. So you may discover K.G. Campbell as an illustrator for other authors, and I predict that if you follow that little rabbit trail, you'll come across some interesting books too. So I guess their publisher has paired them, I don't know if KG is male or female, up with some good authors. So that's it as far as books that I have read. I was hoping to get a really good, like, zooming ahead of videos, but so many books are big. I showed you last time for book club. I have to read this for October. Yes, October, like October's almost here. Holy Hannah. And there was another one here that's for book club, Oil People. I keep thinking I'm not going to like it. This I think I have to have done for October 6th. And then there's another one somewhere in this round of books that, yeah, it's fun to be in book clubs, but I don't always enjoy reading the books. I guess I'm really there for the people. I've been with these people for so many years that I would just miss spending time with them. So I end up reading these books that it's like, oh, hasta la vista. So I will see you next week, and we'll see how the editing goes. Fingers crossed. I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true. Bye-bye for now.